Hey everyone, welcome to your third AngularJS tutorial, and in this tutorial we'll be discussing about what we did in the last tutorial with ng model and a new directive, or basically a new keyword for you, ng bind. So these two attributes are kind of special, which would help you to bind your data in HTML and to use them dynamically in your HTML file. So AngularJS kind of extends your HTML code, extends its functionality with something called directives. Now these directives we'll be discussing more in detail about in later tutorials, but for now just remember that directives are attributes for HTML elements starting from ng dash, and all these are directives, all these attributes. And what these directives do is depend on their tasks. So for example, ng model works on every input type, let it be input tag, let it be text area, or maybe maybe select, and all that. And we have got ng bind. So instead of doing like this, what we can do is we can make use of no matter div would do ng bind. Now we could give div ng bind and the value same as we entered here. So what happens here is, instead of using like this, we are giving ng bind attribute to div, and this would automatically update the text. This would automatically bind this event, this text box, to this div. So whatever we write inside this will automatically get updated inside this div. So let's view it in the browser. Let's reload the code, and we have got our text box here. So let's write hello world. I can type anything here, and if you are more kind of security geek, then you should know that this text is automatically escaped before writing into the div. Alright, so that's about ng bind and ng model. And one thing you have to remember is that ng model looks like to work with every input kind of thing, but does not. So if you give like div ng model name and make it content editable to true, then this would not work. So div, I hope you guys know what is content editable, because I recommended you to check out my HTML tutorials. But if you don't know what is this and are confused what's happening here, so let me tell you that content editable is an attribute which would convert your div to accept text. So it's nothing but it's kind of create a text holder for your div. So once we reload this, you see that we have got this div as now editable, so we could actually place our own text inside this div. So as you see, whenever I write this, nothing gets updated in this div. So this bind events, this ng model bind event, only works with your specific input types, like your input, your text area, and this text area, and let's just remove this. And you see it works with text area, it would work with select, no need to show, it would work with other by default HTML elements which takes input from the user. So that was a quick introduction to directives in basically Angular. So that's how basically directives work. As I told you, directives are attributes of Angular in HTML, which would extend your functionality of HTML and would make your document dynamic within itself without writing any specific script. Alright, so that's all for this tutorial, I guess, and we'll be talking about more interesting stuff in the future tutorials. So till then, stay tuned with me and don't forget to subscribe.